Telly Edwards, and welcome to On the Red Dot. The World Giving Index 2013 ranks Singapore as second from the bottom when it comes to helping strangers, and 75 out of 160 countries when it comes to volunteering time. On this episode, we meet some exceptional individuals in Singapore who are bucking the trend and stepping up to be counted. He works in a court of law. They work in a hospital. And he drives a taxi. They all come from different walks of life, but they have one thing in common. All of them do pro bono work.
It's very easy to just stay in your office and have a comfortable life. I think it's much more enriching if you're able to make use of your expertise and the skills that you have learned to help a wider group of people.
Ahead in this episode, we meet those benefiting from the work of volunteers who lent their skills to the needy.
Pro bono legal work is important because I believe that every country will not deny their residents of their legal rights.
I'm not strong enough, and then I cannot go down buy food. That's why I need somebody to send me the food.
We find out what drives the volunteers and the rewards they reap.
当了义工之后，我觉得人生短短了，看到那些生老病死，我觉得应该把握现在了，所以我的脾气也改得很多了。
For our first story, we meet a lawyer with a strong belief in pro bono work. We see how his dedication to volunteering his legal expertise can make a difference to people's lives, and how his daughter has a role to play in motivating him. Peter, not his real name, could have been spending this Lunar New Year in jail. He was arrested late last year, but had no money for a lawyer.
Without Raphael's help, I believe I will be right now facing a 6 months prison sentence, and this interview might be happening in the prison instead of here itself.
Raphael Lewis, a volunteer lawyer with the Law Society, took on Peter's case pro bono. Peter had pleaded guilty to charges of cheating of $1,400 and forgery of 2 official documents. But for Raphael, even the guilty need legal representation.
If a client is guilty and if he wants to plead guilty, one of the roles of a lawyer is to ensure that he gets a fair punishment. The punishment must fit the crime, and it must also fit the criminal.
Indeed, Raphael found out there were mitigating circumstances in Peter's case. Peter was unemployed, suffering from depression, and was spending much of his money on psychiatric treatment. But Raphael didn't merely present those factors in court. He also made sure Peter didn't ruin his own chances.
Raphael was quite stern. He was very, very stern when I first met him. I was shivering inside me while I was talking to him, as I can sense the sense of authority in him. He told me that I should appear in court every day, every time when I was to go for a session in court itself.
With Raphael's help, Peter's sentence was cut from 6 months to just 20 days.
It's very satisfying when you help somebody and he gets a fair punishment from the court, and you know that you made a difference in that person's life. Honestly, the pro bono cases are the ones I remember better.
Raphael is among more than 300 lawyers doing pro bono work under the Law Society's Criminal Legal Aid Scheme. Work that is increasingly in demand. In 2012, the scheme supported 300 cases. But by last year, that figure jumped by a third to 400 cases. It's a juggling act for busy lawyers like Raphael when they take on pro bono work. He spends up to 200 hours in a year providing help to different quarters, the Punggol Free Legal Clinic, Criminal Legal Aid Scheme, church, as well as mediation at the subordinate courts. He squeezes in these hours during his lunch break, in the evenings or over his weekends, sometimes taking leave to attend to his non-paying clients. family time can take a back seat when work comes to a head, but not tonight.
One Saturday morning.
Dinner is ready.
Okay, shall we go eat?
The busy periods are seasonal. It might be like the beginning of the year, and then usually before holidays and year end. So there are periods like this, but it's not like every day, you know. So I think that's why it's good, because that allows him time to do volunteer work. I'm really proud of him. I think that what he does has an impact on people. And I remember some of the people who came to see him were really desperate.
Raphael's volunteer work doesn't stop here. It's a Wednesday evening. Raphael is not at home. Instead, he's holed up at a makeshift office nearby at Block 176D on Edgefield Plains, giving out free legal advice. Raphael started the Punggol Free Legal Clinic 2 years ago to provide legal counseling to those in need. The clinic runs on the first Wednesday of every month from 8 p.m. to the last resident leaves.
I wanted to do something close to home, within my own neighborhood. I live in a HDB estate, and I think there are people who need help, who are ignorant but who are hurting. The court will take that into account. I give the example of the battered wife. So when I know that she is in danger or in risk of getting harassed by the husband, I will alert the volunteers, and I would seek permission from the person himself, say, can we follow up on you? And because it's in the neighborhood, people can go and visit her. So if there's a financial issue, we would go through the relevant channels to make sure that she gets the help from the RCs or from the community centers.
And it's making that difference for the society around him that drives Raphael to continue with his pro bono work, despite the sacrifices that come with it.
I see pro bono as something that helps me to stay grounded. If one can simplify, you know, why do we go to court? Why do we do what we do? Is to help the person on the street. Is to help society. And I think for the younger generation in Singapore, we live in a very comfortable society. I think it's really good if people can volunteer their time to help others, to ensure that those who are poor and needy don't feel left out. So I hope it inspires my daughter to do similar things when she grows up.